Race 2 of the Wood Trophy, a woman's one design regatta. The helmsperson has to be a female. It's a great turnout again. Race 1 was in about 12 to 14 knots of breeze. This race is starting in about 11 to 12. We're a minute 30 from the start. Competitors are circling around. The windward mark not on screen is to the right of windward. So there's a very short runway on starboard tack before they have to get onto port to get over to the mark. Pin is favored, not by a lot. It's a fairly square line this time. A minute from the gun, you see the competitors circling. These are jy15s, double-headed boats, much like a 420, but heavier. It's being shot on a Phantom 4 DJI. There's a polarizer on it. Don't quite like the way the polarizer's accenting. You can see the top left and the bottom right are brighter and darker on the right and the left. That's the lens that I put on to compensate for the bright sky. It needs to be adjusted. 10 seconds to the start. You see on the bottom left towards the pin, those boats will end up getting the best start. That looks like Christiana and Chris Brody. The bottom left going for the pin. And here's the gun. They're off. It's a clear front row and a second row. Slightly pin favored. The boats with speed at the pin, as soon as they tack, they'll be leading the fleet if they get over in time. I was flying this drone today, still getting my bearings, just getting out there. Wasn't able to make the first race, didn't have enough warning to get the start, so I just waited for the second race. First boat tacking over, that looks like Christiana, who is the regatta leader at this point, and they're heading straight for the windward mark. There wasn't much of a runway on starboard before you had to get over to port. Once we scroll over and we change directions, we'll see the mark on the far right. Now it's a drag race. Those boats still on starboard on the left-hand side have overstood at this point. You probably haven't seen the mark, but they're all trying to get clear. Now you can see the mark at the very top of the screen if you look closely. You can see the boats on the left have overstood, and even the boats on the far right are making it. Windward of the starting line would be much further to the left. Drone, we can come up, we can see that the leaders can easily make this mark on port. They're reaching off to try to get down there. The breeze did come in left, but the windward mark started to the right to begin with. You can see more breeze coming off the left-hand side up top. Not easy beating the race committee. Always trying to get a square line and a good windward leg. Personally, I always think the first windward leg's the most important. Everything else follows. Looks like Christiana's going to be to the winter mark again at first. She won the first race. Looks like she's going to get a good lead on this race as well. Yeah, it looks like it's Sarah Nightingale in second. Christiana and her husband Chris in first. Christiana doing an excellent job there, accelerating and getting up on a plane. It's funny looking at Chris Brody, that first boat. He's probably 6'3". Him trying to crew it's not the most comfortable position for someone that size. As we pan up here, we see the rest of the fleet coming in, rounding. It's a great opportunity, the Wood Regatta is, for women to get more experience driving. There's a lot of crew that are typically skippers, crewing for their crew, someone that they normally sail with. Sarah Nightingale's niece is sailing with her father. I think she was 16 years old, maybe younger, 13. I think that's her in 17 right there. I think John Paul's in that boat 0. He's the reigning national champion. We didn't get all the race on this cut. We're gonna fill in phase 2 on chapter 2 of race 2. We'll be back in a minute with that.